Hi, I'm Kenny Fries. I'm on the faculty of the MFA in Creative Writing program at Goddard College, and I'm doing research here on my Fulbright at Alice Solomon Hochschule in Berlin for my book, Stumbling Over History, my fourth book of creative nonfiction. So what most people know about the Holocaust is this. Hitler and the Nazis enacted a lethal plan of extermination known as the Final Solution. Jews were targeted for death in concentration camps, and 6 million Jews were killed in an attempted genocide. But have you heard of Aktion T4? You know the name of concentration camps, Auschwitz, Sobibor, Treblinka, but have you ever heard of Hadamar, Grafnik, and Hartheim? Neither have many Germans. Aktion T4 was the plan for the extermination of the disabled. Hadamar, Grafnik, and Hartheim were 3 of the 6 facilities where disabled people were killed, but also served as training grounds for the Final Solution. The disabled were used to test methods of euthanasia and extermination. They were subjected to similar horrors as the Jews in Auschwitz and Treblinka, and scant testament of their experience remains. The fate of the T4 sites was unlike those of the concentration camps. Instead of ruins or sites of remembrance, most became apartment buildings or reverted to the psychiatric institutions they were before T4. So why Germany? In the UK, Canada, and the US, eugenics was rampant. In the US, people with disabilities were mistreated in institutions and forcibly sterilized. In the 1923 Buck versus Bell US Supreme Court decision, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote, "One generation of imbeciles is enough." So what are the effects of this history on those living with disabilities today? Why is it important for us to know this history? This is the picture of the Sloperstein, the stumbling stones outside the building where I lived when I first came to Berlin on a DAD grant in 2013. It memorializes 5 Jews who lived at the same address until they were deported and killed in 41, 42, and 43. This is the only known photograph of Tiergartenstrasse 4, from which Aktion T4 takes its name. The villa was appropriated from the Jewish Lieberman family and became the headquarters for Aktion T4. It's where the Philharmonie now stands. The National T4 Memorial opened outside the Philharmonie only in 2014. Unlike other groups targeted for killing by the Nazis, there is scant testament of survivors. This is a drawing by Wilhelm Werner, who was first sterilized and killed in T4. Thanks to my Fulbright grant, I will go to the Prinzhorn collection in Heidelberg, and under the auspices of the museum's director, I'll get to see the drawings and other art by psychiatric patients in their collection. So what happened in the summer of 1940? That's what the sign says. Brandenburg was the first killing center. It was in the center of the town where methods of mass killings were tested on the disabled. When it closed, personnel were moved to concentration camps such as Sobibor. This is a photo which kind of seems mundane, but it's the Grafeneck staff outing to celebrate the 10,000th T4 killing, and it looks kind of normal. Rarely are the disabled depicted as anything but victims. This is Otto Veit, a blind businessman who hid Jews in his brush factory in Hackeschmarkt and traveled to Auschwitz to help a former secretary survive. You can visit the place, which is now the Otto Veit Blindenwerkstatt Museum. So I'm also Jewish. I'm actually gay, Jewish, and disabled. My ex called me the Nazi trifecta. So I guess I should, if I was a communist, I'd have mostly, you know. So my Hanukkah parties in Berlin have been personally very important. This is the Hanukkah menorah lit in front of Brandenburg Gate, the same place where Nazi torchlight parades took place. T4 site at Pirna Sonnenstein. This is an art intervention throughout the town when you climb up to the castle. There are 18 sides of Canaletto's famous view of Pirna with words such as crematorium over the painted image. Okay, almost done. So how do we remember? This is a photo of the 10,000 ceramic figures at Grafnik representing the 10,000 people killed there in Aktion T4. And this is the only known photograph of the crematorium smoke at Hartheim, the T4 killing center in Austria near Linz. So basically, to wrap up, Stumbling Over History follows my journey of discovery across history And it takes in the fact that it's during the time where Europe and the world suffer through the throes of the greatest immigrant migration since World War II and the rising nationalism and anti-Semitism both in Europe and in the United States. Thank you.